who is Sam Purpose, and what was life like before your music career, particularly with the loss of your father, the house fire, and the diagnosis with epilepsy?
Yeah, man. So Sam Purpose is a man that loves Jesus, loves his family, loves the people around him, no matter what race they are. Um, and speaking to that, um, you know, I grew up in a Christ centered home with my father. He loved the Lord and my mom loved the Lord, but I didn't really want to live that lifestyle yet. I was trying to pretend to be somebody. I was not getting my identity from the media. They didn't have social media back then, but they still had TV. They still had like music videos. And so, in 1991, my father passed away. He was in a car accident, and it was unexpected because I was 8 years old. And so, anytime you lose a parent, that could be very tragic, especially if you were real close to that parent. So me and my father really close. And he always hugged me. He taught me the essence about being a man was about being a leader in your home and following Jesus, and everything else centered around that helps you to be a leader. And so, even though I didn't embrace that until later, he passed away. And then, like you said, about 6 months later, our house caught on fire. Me and my sister and my mom, we were all outside and we seen smoke coming from it. And so it started back there in my father's room. And, the house, everything was burned up in the house. Only thing that didn't burn up was the Bible that he
Really?
had. Yeah.
Wow, that's
It's like,
amazing.
and I hear so many stories about that now, but I was like, everything burned up except the fire, the Bible, and my Nintendo. It got some smoke in there, but it was still working a little bit. So, during that time, I was I felt like I ignored being angry with God and being upset because I used to get in fights at school, get suspended when I moved from, the house that I grew up in with my father to a place called Middlesex, North Carolina, down there where my grandmother is. And I was excited to be down there with my grandma, but then it was just so much tragic stuff that happened to me. And I sort of didn't really talk about it with nobody. I didn't talk about the death of my father. I didn't talk about a house fire. I didn't have nobody to really vent how I feel. I just felt like that's how life is. That's how things go. So you just move on. But I really believe that a lot of that stuff I held internally. And, I was so angry to a point that, like you said, I started having seizures when I was in the fourth grade. And I didn't know what it was. My mom would pick me up and we'd go get checked out and everything at the doctor. And hey, EEGs, CAT scans, medicine. And for a while, I had them for about a couple years, and then they went away when I was in high school. Then they came back when a couple years ago, and I had them up to a grown adult now. And then I think the last seizure that I had was 2017, and I was in the doctor's office at looking at the ultrasound of my daughter, my firstborn.
Wow.
And that was the last seizure that I had. And so we kept, praying, and God led us to go to Wake Forest Baptist Health, did another EEG. And it was crazy because during this EEG, they put me to sleep, and I had a dream. And in this dream, I ain't really never told nobody this. So you're the first to hear it. This dream was like when I was in the EEG, it was like I was on this field, right? And it was like I was sort of enjoying myself, and I was just playing, and it was a weird dream. And then I woke up, and so after that, my doctor gave me my last prescriptions, and then she's like, I came back for a checkup. She said, I don't see the need to keep giving you medicine if
Mm.
you're not having seizures. And so, that period of my life was very tragic, but, it was tough. Just epilepsy, my father passing, it just enough to make a boy go crazy.
Yeah.
But and this is before I gave my life to Christ. But even when I did give my life to Christ in 2005, it was like, with those things still happening,
Mm.
it helped me see it from a different perspective.
Right. Wow. That's quite a story of hardship and just I could not imagine how you navigated that without, I mean, obviously relying on God's strength,